It figures. It figures I'd have something that looks like this in the Voodoo Garden. I'll show it to you in a second, but first I want to welcome you back to the Voodoo Garden. Listen, it's quiet. It's stone cold quiet down here. It's really strange. My babies have left the nest. Yeah, it's kind of sad, but it's a good thing because they had to do that. For those of you who are new, by the way, welcome to the Voodoo Garden. This area right here used to be where I had the tub in the last episode. I had a tub of chicks. I hatched 7 myself, and then I stumbled upon some at a feed store, and I bought, what did I buy? 12? 12 more. So I had this huge flock of chicks in a plastic container with their food and water, and they stunk up the joint. Well, what happens when you have chicks inside, when you hatch them inside, those of you who have done this and those of you who have not, I'm going to clue you into this. Chicks make a lot of dust. They poop, it dries, they scratch it around, it makes poop dust. They scratch their food, it makes food dust. They scratch themselves and they have dander and little pieces of down that fall off. Chick dust. So there's a million kinds of dust going off into all over your house, and you don't realize it. You don't realize it at all until it starts piling up. And in the Voodoo Garden, it was suffocating all the plants. All the leaves had all of this dust all over them. This philodendron, this is called a Prince of Orange. And it wasn't doing very much orange. It was all dusty. The banana tree, dusty. I think this is a horse mask or something like that, dusty. Everything was a mess. Even this vine, this ivy, is coated in dust. I had to take them all outside, which I don't like to do. I took them all outside, hosed them down, got them all washed up, brought them back in, and they're kind of doing better. But all that dust will clog the pores of the plants, and it really is not good for them. But I had to get rid of the chicks, not because of that, because I really don't mind dust getting all over everything, but they were getting a little bit too big for their container. I would come in here and I would see a chick perched on the edge, which is actually kind of cute, but the problem is they jump up, flap up, because they can fly awful fast, awful early. And they'd fly up, perch on the edge, and then they would forget that they need to go back down there. They would come out here, and I'd find chicks running around scared to death out here because this is the big wide world, and they weren't used to that. So I thought, no, it's time to take the babies outside. We'll take a field trip. Ah, that's a good idea. You and me, we'll take a field trip outside and go check out the chicks. They've grown a lot in just the last couple weeks. And one last thing I want to do in here, though, is I want to show you it's kind of quiet and it's getting kind of empty. Because what I've been doing is emptying out the Voodoo Garden. I need to do this. On a yearly basis, I do a spring cleaning. I get rid of all the junk and all the stuff that really doesn't quite fit in. And I got to wash this rug. Finally, I got to wash this rug. It was dirty as it was, but with all the chick dust, it's crazy. I got to actually put this in the washer, wash it, and while this is out of here, I'm going to take some of these plants and move them out into the hall, and I want to paint this floor. I did the walls a few years ago, but the floor is still this creepy prison gray, and I never did like it. So I have some paint. I have green, I have blue, I have white, I have a whole bunch of different colors. I don't know what I'm going to paint it, but this floor has got to be a different color. This is really creepy. So this will give me the opportunity to do that. But I was looking for a plant to show you today, and this one really did quite fit the bill. This is indicative of something that you would expect to find in my Voodoo Garden. A friend, a viewer, sent me a sunflower seed. I planted it in the Voodoo Garden to see if I could grow a sunflower indoors. I always like to see what I can do. What is the extent of what I can do indoors? Well, this is the extent of what I could do. It grew beautifully, and I showed it up close, and it had beautiful leaves. It was growing great. Problem is, it got some kind of a fungus on the leaves, and that will happen when you're growing inside. You'll get a fungus on the leaves, and you got to treat it. Well, I figured spring is close enough. I'm not going to grow this forever inside. Let's just pluck off the leaves as we go. Well, what happened is I kept plucking off the leaves until finally it ran out of leaves, and then it decides to do this. Check this out. Notice the leaves? This is a fungal issue, and generally when you have a fungal issue on your leaves, you'll see black dots or yellowish dots on it. And one mistake that folks will make is when they have a fungus disease, they think they need to treat it from the top. Actually, the fungal spores and the fungus itself is on the underside of the leaf. You need to actually spray from underneath whatever you're using to get rid of the fungus. Spray it on the underside of the leaf. Also spray on the top, but mostly focus on the bottom of the leaf. And when you do spray, spray all the leaves, even if they're not infected, the stem and the surface of the soil to make sure you got everything, whatever kind of fungicide you use. I decided not to use any fungicide on this because this plant isn't going to be in here for very long. I just wanted to see what would happen. And up close and personal, this is what happened. This is a sunflower. It was a seed from a giant sunflower that somebody had grown. They gave me the seed, and look what happened. The flower. It's not a normal everyday sunflower. It's a Siamese twin, a conjoined flower. There's one over here and there's one over there. Is that original or what? Some folks call these super blooms. They happen in tomatoes sometimes, and sometimes in peppers. They're conjoined. It's really a bizarre looking thing. Now, I did pollinate this with my finger and my nose earlier. I stuck my nose in there. They do have a good smell, and this one does have a good smell. It smells like summer. I'm doing this, but I don't really believe that this plant is going to live long enough to produce sunflower seeds because the leaves are going to be dead within a week. This will have no leaves whatsoever, so I'm not really that confident that it's going to survive that long. Yet, I wanted to show you this because it is something really, truly strange and unusual. And that's what we have in the Voodoo Garden. Things tend to be strange and unusual. My special little child. I love her anyway. Anyway, I did promise you a field trip outside, and a field trip we shall have. What are you whining at? You know who I am. I feed you, you butthead. Don't you give me that sound? That's my rooster. Did you know that he's actually an Americana rooster? Yeah, the chicks that I got from the feed store, a lot of them are Americana. So eventually, he is going to mate with them, and I'll have little Americana babies. Yeah, if they hatch and raise their own chicks. Okay, enough of you guys. My friends came here to see these. Inside this fenced-in area, the bottom fence, by the way, is that hardware cloth that I use outside. And then halfway up, it's regular fencing that they could get there, but they can't fly that high. So I'm really not too awful concerned about that. Right inside, there they are. They normally don't hide in the corner, but then again, normally I don't walk out here with the camera in my hand. And I got to show you something first. This is not easy. Yes, my clothes are being eaten by my garbage disposal here. People wonder why I don't have anything nice to wear. Well, I used to have something nice to wear until he turned it into poop. Yep, that's Lewis. That's what he does. He's only doing that for attention. He actually doesn't chew it. He just nibbles on it. Okay, enough of Lewis. Here's the babies. And here they are. I have a little tray of food in there for them, and I feed them twice a day. It's a mixture of chick feed and scratch grains, and I also bring them in a handful of greens, random stuff like grass, dandelion greens chopped up really small, and clover, and they peck on that. Lewis, stop that. Lewis is trying to get my microphone. You know how that always ends up. But I have their little waterer over there. I had a smaller waterer. You saw that little red one. Well, I've replaced that. Let me zoom in on this. And this is a pet waterer for a small dog. This works a lot better. I can fill up a larger container with water. And see, they're tall enough to drink out of it without actually falling in and drowning themselves. Problem is they like to perch on top. And when chickens perch on anything, they poop. So yes, they do. They poop into the water. I'm changing the water 10 times a day. And this is what happens. Yay! You're the troublemaker. Yep, she is. Whenever they lay an egg, they get all crazy. And then everybody gets crazy, and then you just got to run for your life. Are you done? No, I'm not done. Okay, back to what my friends came to watch. They're pretty calm. And what they do is they walk around and scratch around in the hay. I don't know if you can see this. I bring them a little treat, but Lewis wants the little treat. He's such a pig. Everything has to be for him. And leave me alone. Go away. Go eat some grass. I got a whole lawn out there for you. But I do bring them a piece of bread. They don't need it. They got plenty of food. But I like to watch them. This is my entertainment. This is how they pay for their food. I'm teaching them, and this is not just giving them a piece of bread. This is teaching them where their food comes from. Their food comes from me. They see me handing them food. See? They also see me doing this with the chickens out here. This gives them a little bit more of a reason to bond with me as a food source. So when I come in here in the morning with their container of food, they don't run away that much. They do back away, but once they see me pour the food, they come running, and I can stand there and they'll go running around my feet. I don't want to be in there right now. I just want them to do what chickens do. Fine, here. That's delicious. Lewis is my special child. Everything's for you, huh? Yeah, it is. Aren't they beautiful? Yeah, the one way over there, see? The new Tiny Tim. She does get pieces of bread because when a chick runs by, see? She just got one. She gets her share of food. She hops with one foot over into the food bowl, gets her food, hops over to the water, gets her water. There's no problem at all with her getting what she needs. And I'm going to pay very close attention to her as she grows, because if she has any special needs, I'm the one that's going to provide them. If she needs extra greens and she can't get to them, I'll provide that for her too. That's what I did with Tiny Tim, the original, and that's what I'm going to do for her, because yeah, that's my job, and it's also my pleasure. I don't mind doing that. Now, I have to get out of here because Lewis is getting really close to that microphone, and I can't afford another one, so it's time for me to go. This is the first time Bucky's been on the Voodoo Garden, and here is Camera Hog standing in his way. Bucky stays in here a lot of the times because it's cooler, less hassle. He's not much of a crowd person. So I come in here with my brush, my animal brush, and I brush him off. Lewis is an outdoor critter. He goes outdoors more. Hey, you're not getting that microphone. It's not going to happen by the hairs of your chinny chin chin. Well, that was my short program today on the Voodoo Garden. I hope you enjoyed yourself in a little field trip out to the chicken coop. Actually, let's see if we can get a shot of Bucky. There we go. Yeah, see? He does exist. Yeah. Oh, he's all cuddles and smiles. Okay, back into the shot. Thanks everybody for joining me on the Voodoo Garden. I appreciate it. If you have any questions about the little crazy chicks or anything else in the world, post it in the comment section below. One of us will get back to you. Oh, his horns are warm. Wow, he generates heat through his horns. Anyway, this is Ray and his critters. We're out of here. You out of here? Oh, I feel good. Oh. Yeah, I know what you like. You too.